Hello everyone, I'm Donna, and thank you for joining me for another healthy lifestyle video review. Well, let's get right to it because this week's film recommendation is one that you are absolutely going to want to watch. This week I will be reviewing a documentary called What the Health. Have you heard about it? I heard a lot of buzz about it for years, but it took me a minute to actually sit down and watch. And when I did, it turned out to be just as eye-opening as everyone said it would be. Now the title, What the Health? That play on words was the producer's creative way of encouraging us to open our eyes, take a look at the agencies and prominent health organizations set in place to protect us, and ask ourselves, what is really going on? Producer Kip Anderson exposes how our trusted government agency, the USDA, along with other well-respected entities, including the American Cancer Society, the Diabetes Association, and others that we trust for guidance, have actually been recommending food choices that keep Americans unhealthy. Now, who would have thought to second guess the USDA or any of these organizations? But this film shows how these organizations also have corporate relationships with the very industries that they are set up to protect us against. The meat industry, the dairy industry, the fast food industry. Now, contrary to popular belief, many of us now know that meat and dairy are two of the biggest contributors to disease. But this film shows how these industries heavily influence many of the eating recommendations we receive from the USDA and from the other health organizations. This film is asking us to think critically and to carefully examine the information we receive from those sources. What the Health reveals how the USDA dairy program gave $12 million to Domino's Pizza to create ads that promote images just to help drive up the consumption of cheese. The dairy industry was spending $50 million a year at the time of filming promoting products to children because they seem to feel if they can get kids hooked on their products, the kids will be consumers for life, even though they know that those years of consumption will at some point adversely impact the health of the consumer. So this film is exposing the ruthlessness. It's exposing the lengths that these corporations and agencies will go to keep Americans consuming unhealthy foods. This film discusses the unhealthy environments that some animals are raised in, how those animals are affected by it, and how it ends up ultimately affecting the consumer. It also exposes environmental racism and how the practices of some of these companies pose additional health risk to vulnerable communities. The producer interviews plant-based nutrition experts, including medical doctors, who explain how the body responds to certain foods. They go on to offer proper guidance as it relates to food choices, and they show testimonials of individuals who transformed their health. What the Health also gives you a glimpse into the meat and dairy production process and shows how diseased meat is shipped to grocery stores and ends up on our dinner tables. So in many cases, we may think we're eating chicken when we're actually eating a disease. What the Health is by far probably the most interesting documentary I've watched on nutrition. If you were not already aware of the deception surrounding the health guidance we receive in this nation, this film will surely bring enlightenment. Take time one morning, afternoon, or evening to sit back and take in the information that is being offered to you through this film. If you do, I promise your next trip to the grocery store will be an entirely different shopping experience as you make wiser choices that will benefit your health.